the government has been shut down for nearly 3 weeks because Donald Trump is throwing a prolonged temper tantrum.
Bernie Sanders, fall back. Your year was 2016 and it really wasn't. Please get away from us.
This rules package contains a giveaway to the right, something known as PAYGO, which is essentially self-imposed austerity. Former Starbucks CEO and billionaire Howard Schultz floated the idea of a 2020 presidential run via Twitter. He brought together establishment Democrats and the progressive left because we all came together and united with one message. Fuck off, Howard Schultz. What are you doing? We all want you to go away forever. Juan Guaido, who's the leader of the opposition, decided to just willy-nilly declare himself president of Venezuela. There are pro-Israel lobbying groups, not to be confused with pro-Jewish people lobbying groups, who are trying to get our politicians in America to do the bidding of a foreign government. And that's all that Ilhan Omar is pointing out. But nonetheless, this basically catalyzed universal condemnation.
Terrible what she said.
Bernie Sanders announced that he is in fact running for president again, and to just show you the impact that he's already having on American political discourse, within the first 4 hours of his announcement, he already raised more than $1 million, and halfway into the day, more than 100,000 different people have already contributed to his campaign. He already received his first endorsement from a U.S. Senator, Patrick Leahy, from his home state of Vermont, and CNN has already announced that they are giving Bernie Sanders a town hall. CNN decided to stack this town hall event with consultants, lobbyists, Democratic Party operatives. He managed to raise $10 million within the first week. He expanded his support base substantially because 40% of his total donations came from brand new supporters. He has a double-digit lead among everyone else in the field when it comes to young voters, and additionally, we got a glimpse at his first quarter fundraising totals, and I think it's safe to say that he's doing okay.
You come in here and you say it has to be my way or the highway. I don't respond to that.
He asked me to pay off an adult film star with whom he had an affair and to lie about it to his wife, which I did.
Amy Klobuchar screamed at an aide and then ate her salad with a comb. They think she wants to ban cows.
You just let Alexandria-Cortez show up at my house and try to take my cows away.
Yes.
I love cows, Jerry. They're delicious.
When are we going to get an actual policy from you instead of just like platitudes and nice stories?
He's opening up the Amazon rainforest to special interests. The white nationalist terrorist in Christchurch, New Zealand, went into 2 different mosques and murdered 50 people. Robert Mueller's investigation into whether or not the Trump campaign colluded with Russia to interfere in the 2016 election has come to an end.
So I took my mother to see Deep Throat.
The Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee warned political strategists and vendors Thursday night that if they support candidates mounting primary challenges against incumbent House Democrats, the party will cut them off from business.
We're going to pay for this whether we pass a Green New Deal or not. Because as towns and cities go underwater, as wildfires ravage our communities, we are going to pay. And we're either going to decide if we're going to pay to react or if we're going to pay to be proactive.
They're trying to assure you that they support protections for people with pre-existing conditions. It's a lie.
I feel Joe Biden put his hands on my shoulders, get up very close to me from behind, lean in, smell my hair, and then plant a slow kiss on the top of my head.
So when you have more than a dozen other candidates who haven't released their tax returns, why is all of the focus being put on Bernie here? On Monday, Bernie Sanders released 10 years worth of his tax returns, and predictably, this did not silence his critics.
Sanders is so lucky to live in a capitalist society.
You are a hypocrite.
I agree. I actually don't have any problems at all with the word nationalism. I think that it gets, the definition gets poisoned.
WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange was arrested today. They came up with a piece of legislation that would save lives potentially. It would end US military support to Saudi Arabia. He chose to veto it.
How many are willing to transition to what the senator says, a government-run system?
There are previously undisclosed Democratic dinners where the subjects what to do about Bernie and party unity has come up. The Alabama State Senate tried to rush through a draconian anti-abortion bill without even holding a roll call vote for it.
Do you know what an Oreo is?
An Oreo?
No, not an Oreo. An REO.
It's going to be a bad problem for Iran if something happens, I can tell you that.
Iran shot down a US drone because they claim that this violated Iranian airspace. He is contemplating pardoning war criminals.
And that little girl was me.
Ilhan Omar is living proof that the way we practice immigration has become dangerous to this country.
Why don't they go back and help fix the totally broken and crime-infested places from which they came?
AOC and this crowd are a bunch of communists. They hate Israel. They hate our own country.
Have you read up much on slavery?
Yeah.
They're joking and laughing about migrants dying when these same people oversee these facilities. Where's the outrage? He didn't care at all that there were all these people in cages.
That children were being separated from their parents in front of an American flag. That women were being called these names under an American flag.
Even if they wanted to sleep on the concrete, they can't really do that because there's not enough room for all of them because there's so many people confined to a singular area.
Bernie Sanders makes my skin crawl.
The people of Puerto Rico responded resoundingly by taking to the streets and calling on him to resign. The House just passed an anti-Palestinian, anti-BDS resolution. There were several progressives who got this wrong, and that includes Ro Khanna, Ayanna Pressley, and Tulsi Gabbard.
I do know when I wrote the damn bill.
She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California, and she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Filth. Okay, so the little queer could eat his chips all nonchalantly. It's code for rape, Mr. Queer eating chips on the Vox channel. Chip, 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 but you can eat just one. Like dicks.
Gay people, they are a target on YouTube, and it's not just gay people, it's especially trans people. When it comes to the incidents, one of them, the one that occurred in El Paso, Texas, was in fact a white supremacist terror attack. He opened fire in a Walmart, and he killed 20 people, injured 26. And the second one occurred in Dayton, Ohio, and a terrorist opened fire outside of a bar, killing 9, injuring 27, and he did all of this damage within about 30 seconds.
I have a 6 and 3-year-old boy. I was imagining it was one of them that got shot, and the other saw it.
Billionaire pedophile Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in his cell over the weekend.
My dad didn't do nothing. He's not a criminal.
Donald Trump's administration is, in fact, pursuing Julian Assange.
On Monday, Modi's government took away the region's special status under the Indian constitution, thereby stripping it of the power to set many of its own laws.
Jair Bolsonaro is accelerating the destruction of Earth's lungs. Right-wing billionaire David Koch has recently died. There were drone attacks on 2 Saudi oil fields, and Houthi rebels claimed responsibility. The Working Party's family has made their choice. The results are in, and they have officially chosen to endorse Elizabeth Warren over Bernie Sanders. Yeah.
I'm looking hard at Amy Klobuchar.
You all come to us young people for hope. How dare you?
A federal court upheld the FCC's repeal of net neutrality. Although if you live in a state like New York, California, Oregon, Washington, the FCC cannot override your state's authority. A jury unanimously convicted Amber Geiger of murder. Well, a key witness in this case, 28-year-old Joshua Brown, was murdered over the weekend. Last week, Bernie Sanders was hospitalized, and we now know that he suffered a heart attack. He's gonna be okay. 3 out of the 4 members of the squad, known as the most vocally progressive members of Congress, will be endorsing Bernie Sanders.
No one wanted to question this system. And in 2016, he fundamentally changed politics in America.
There was an image of her that went viral hanging out with George W. Bush at a football game, and Donald Trump announced that in spite of the risks, he'd be moving out of northern Syria, and Turkey did exactly what we expected them to do. This is what she said about Tulsi Gabbard.
I'm not making any predictions, but I think they've got their eye on somebody who's currently in the Democratic primary.
1 in 4 judges, 1 in 4 federal appeals court judges have been appointed by Donald J. Trump. Kentucky governor and Trump bootlicker Matt Bevin lost his race to Democrat Andy Beshear. Bolivia's first indigenous president, Evo Morales, who is an incredibly successful and popular left-wing socialist president, became the latest leader in Latin America to fall victim to a military coup backed by, you guessed it, the United States government. The first day of public impeachment proceedings took place, and in spite of attempts by Republicans to grandstand, I don't think it went very well for Donald Trump.
To ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election.
He has managed to buy his way into the race by spending millions upon millions of dollars.
Multi-billionaires like Mr. Bloomberg are not going to get very far in this election.
We learned that Donald Trump will be cutting more than 600,000, almost 700,000 people from the food stamp program. Cenk Uygur of TYT announced that he is in fact running for Congress.
Bernie could have endorsed you quicker.
He could have. He hurt me. There's no doubt about it. He hurt me.
The House Committee on the Judiciary is introducing 2 articles of impeachment charging the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, with committing high crimes and misdemeanors.
I will not lead the party in any future general election campaign. I will discuss with our party to ensure there is a process now of reflection on this result and on the policies that the party will take going forward.